Streaming all across the country, from Washington State to South Beach and the Northeast to the deserts of Arizona, to dive into all things football. You're listening to the B&E Podcast. Here's your hosts, Ed Donaldson and Brandon Simpson.
All eyes are on this division heading into 2026. You know them as the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders. We got quarterback health watch in Kansas City, new play caller in Denver on the offensive side of the ball, new coordinators on both sides in Los Angeles, and of course, a new first overall pick in the NFL draft, Fernando Mendoza. Will he or will he not start to as the season opens up in just a couple of weeks, just about a month away or less? It'll be fun to watch the AFC West. We're going to break it all down. He's Ed. I'm Brandon. Welcome to the Breaking and Entering podcast presented by Premium. How you doing?
Yeah, man, doing good. Preseason football is back on TV. We got some games on underway right now. My Commanders played last night against the Dolphins. So yeah, man, looking forward to the season getting away. I can't wait. Like I said, last year I had some fantasy drafts going on. I got another one going on today as well. So yeah, man, we get back in the flow of things. Let's get this opening drive started though, shall we? Kyler Murray has been named the starting quarterback for the Vikings. Falcons edge rusher James Pierce Jr. has been suspended 8 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy related to his February domestic violence arrest. The Seahawks have signed cornerback Terrion Arnold. Steelers defensive tackle Keanu Benton has signed a new 4-year, $72 million extension. Salute to him. Troy Aikman will have restrictions related to his role with ESPN after he joined the Miami Dolphins as a consultant. Seahawks linebacker DeMarcus Lawrence says he's retiring. He's entering his final season in the NFL. Cardinals rookie offensive lineman Chase Bisontis tore his left MCL during Thursday's preseason game. Devin Witherspoon has a new deal, making him the highest paid corner in the NFL for the Seahawks. Commanders defensive lineman Dorrance Armstrong has been suspended 1 game for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Phidarian Mathis of the Buffalo Bills, he's been suspended 3 games for violating the substance abuse policy stemming from an off-season incident. He'll be eligible to return September 28th. Najee Johnson of the Tennessee Titans, he has been suspended 6 games for violating the PED substance policy, which he attributed to an unintended positive test from a fertility medication. He'll be eligible to return October 19th. Real quick before we get into the AFC West, I mentioned Commanders-Dolphins game. We didn't have all our starters playing. Jaden didn't play. But that first drive, the Dolphins marched down the field. A couple of starters in the damn game. It just reminded me of old times. Couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. But, I can't read too much into it, but I was like, oh, Lord, here we go again. I started to shake my damn head. They ran it down our throats a little bit. It seems like they was Malik Willis. He looked damn good that first drive because he had some wide open receivers out there. But like I said, it's preseason. We didn't have all our starters out there, so I don't want to read too much into it. Did see Sonny Styles out there. Leo Chanel, linebacker used to play for the Chiefs, who we're about to talk about now, was out there too. But yeah, we did end up winning that game. But like I said, preseason. And then Marcus Mariota, he had to leave the game. He fell on the ground taking a hit. I think he was dealing with a knee injury or something, but he was able to walk off on his own power. But yeah, preseason, boy. Don't read too much into it, but I'm already like, oh my God. So yeah, we'll see how that goes though. But first team for the AFC West that we're gonna get into today is the Kansas City Chiefs. You mentioned earlier introducing the show a couple of new coordinators. They're bringing back Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. So got a few questions about the Chiefs in general. Start with the offensive side of the ball since I'm talking about Eric Bieniemy. How is the offense going to look? Thinking since Mahomes is reconnecting with him, we could see Mahomes a little bit under center more. And then I know Bieniemy kind of has a specialty in the run game. He was with the Bears, and they had a pretty good run game last season. So I'm thinking they'll have more emphasis on the run game, especially as, they reintegrate Mahomes back on the field, dealing with that knee injury he suffered last season. I doubt he'll be 100% by the week 1 starts. I think it'll take him a month or 2 for him to, feel back to normal. So I'm thinking a lot more emphasis on the run game, including Kenneth Walker. They got rid of Isaiah Pacheco, Cloud Edwards-Helaire. They brought in Amari DeMarcado. I can see him being more of a pass-catching, third down type of back. But I'm wondering for the offense, particularly the wide receivers, I thought Rashee Rice definitely proved himself to be a number one wide receiver, but he kind of had a rocky offseason himself. He dealt with the knee injury. He got a cleanup procedure in his knee. And then while he was doing rehab, unfortunately for him, he had to do a 30-day jail sentence for a probation violation. Now, he did get granted permission to continue the physical therapy while he was in jail. So hopefully there's not too much setback on his knee. But I'm wondering if he's going to be 100% when the season starts, because I think he's a true number one for them. And then Xavier Worthy, he dealt with an injury last year too. I think it was a shoulder injury, and so he didn't play all the time. So I'm wondering if these guys can come back. One, can they be healthy right away, and can they remain healthy? Xavier Worthy's not the biggest guy in the world. He is a speedster, but he's not a big guy. So can he take the punishment that happens in the NFL this season? As we all know, this is 100% injury sport. So can those guys stay out there? So wide receivers is a question mark for me as far as the health. And then Kelsey, how much does he have left in the gas tank? I think he's going to his age 37 season. I think last year he had about 800 yards receiving, if I'm not mistaken. Can he produce those same type of numbers? I know he's on the twilight of his career now. I'm thinking about fantasy-wise. He used to be a guy that would be drafted for fantasy purposes, everybody, like right out the gate, no first couple rounds. Now that he's getting older, his production is kind of tailed down some. He's more in the later rounds, like 9th, 10th, middle of the draft type thing. I'm wondering who are they going to rely on, because I don't think he'll be the same type of guy he was even last year. I think, especially with Mahomes, who I'm going to get into next, I just don't know if he can produce the same amount, if he can get 800 yards type receiving. If he does do that, I think it'll be like him and Tony Gonzalez is the only guys in league history to record like 800 yards in their age 36 and age 37 season. Is he going to be able to produce, give them, the gas they need? I'm not too sure about that. So I'm wondering how that offense is going to look. How is the enemy going to put all those things together and make this offense productive like it has been years past? Defense side of the ball, Trent McDuffie's gone. He got traded away. Jalen Thomas, he's also gone. He's with the Rams too. I didn't mention that McDuffie's with the Rams, but he's with the Rams too. So how is Steve Spagnuolo? What is he going to do to, take care of those guys that are no longer on the team? They did draft Mansour Delane. I'm hearing about him that he's good in man-to-man type, especially in college. They say he's pretty much elite in that category. But is he going to be able to produce the same way he did in college as getting NFL? I don't think he's going to be like a starter right away. They still have the Jerry Sneed. They brought him back. He's with the Titans for a while, but he's back on the low. So he'll definitely, in my opinion, be the number one cornerback for the Chiefs. Then they got what's my guy's name for the Chiefs as well? Christian Fulton. I think he's pretty decent. I think he'll be, on the other side of the fall. Kier Elam is another player they got. They picked up your boy. Y'all picked him up last year, but if he decided, you'll probably get a little bit more than him. But Alohi Gilman. So they did, replace some of the guys. They did lose Brian Cook as well, safety. So I'm wondering if that defense will be a little bit of, setback from where they were last year as far as the secondary play. And then there was a lot of movement on the front seven as well. I talked about Leo Chanel with the Commanders. He was formerly with the Chiefs last year. They got rid of a few guys on the line as well. They did draft a defensive tackle. I think his name was Peter Woods. He was their last pick in the first round. D tackle out of Clemson. They also signed a guy. His name, forgive me for butchering your name, Carisis Tonga. I think he's with the Bears last year. He's also a D tackle, nose tackle. So those two additions, along with Chris Jones, I'm wondering how the D line's gonna look. They still got your boy. I keep saying your boy. I know you hate the Chiefs and that, so I'll just joking with that. But George Karlaftis, younger guy, but he's kind of made a name for himself. So I'm wondering just how that defense is gonna gel, because they got a couple of new additions from what they had last year. I wonder if there's going to be any drop down for what they were last year. Not sure. And then I talk about Patrick Mahomes. If he's right, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. But major injury like that, I wonder if his play style is going to change some. He's kind of mobile. He'll get out in the pocket, extend the play a little bit. I wonder if he's going to have to change the way he plays till his knee feels, what it was before. And that might take a year or two. I don't know. I don't know how he feels about that or how he feels physically. But I'm wondering just how he's going to be the first couple weeks, the first month or two, actually, how he's going to perform. Is he going to have to not be as mobile, more of a traditional pocket passer, stay in the pocket, get rid of the ball fast, and how he's going to look out there. Andy Reid, I don't have any problems with as far as I think he's going to have these guys ready to play. I think Eric Bieniemy is coming back. I think that'll help them clean up the little small stuff they had issues with last year as far as if they were making mental mistakes, because he'll get up in somebody's ass. I seen him do that to my Commanders. They didn't really like it too much. Hard coaching style type thing. But I think with the Chiefs, they're kind of used to that. He'll come back in the fold and they'll be all new again. So I'm wondering how both sides of the ball is going to look. I got some questions right now. I got them finishing in third place. At the same time, I say that this is kind of like the NFC South for me, where I think there could be 3 teams in this division that make the playoffs. So just because I got them finishing in third place doesn't mean I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I still think by the time they get to the mid-year, they'll start getting those gears firing on all cylinders again. And I think they'll be right in the playoff hunt. But right now, I got the Chiefs finishing in the third place in that division. I got questions about Mahomes and how he'll look if they'll beat Russ. The receiver room, Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy, can those guys stay healthy? And the same for Kelsey. Can he, how much he got left in the tank? And on the defensive side of the ball, the subtractions they had. I didn't mention Charles Omenihu, who's going. I talked about Brian Cook. I forgot to mention, Marquise Hollywood Brown. He played with them last year too. I think he dealt with injuries too, but he's another weapon that's no longer on the team. So just a lot of uncertainty for me, but I do think later in the season they'll be firing on all cylinders and be good enough to be in a playoff hunt and make the playoffs. But I got them finishing third in AFC West. What about you?
Yeah, one thing I told y'all last December when it happened, man, Mahomes gonna be back for week 1. That whether or not how he looked, like you mentioned, is he gonna be outside the pocket? Is he gonna be that Superman type of guy early on? Don't know, but he's gonna be back. Unfortunately, for us, for me as a Chiefs hater, I got to see him week 1 when they're on prime time there in Kansas City. But yeah, going back to last season, man, multiple issues they got to fix. Too many Mahomes interceptions, just not like him to finish with double-digit interceptions like he had last year. Lack of a run game, no true wide receiver in my position. I mean, in my opinion, lack of production from that wide receiver group. I know a lot of people were big on, I think, Worthy got banged up in week 1 when he ran into Kelsey against the Chargers. He was out for multiple weeks. And then Rice was coming off the suspension. Everybody was like, when Rice comes back, I remember watching on ESPN and NFL Network. When he comes back, we're going to see the Chiefs take off, what I'm saying? Because they got into a little bit of slump there in the first couple of weeks. And when Rice came back, Worthy was healthy. It still was not the same offense that we're used to seeing. Too many drops, particularly Travis Kelsey. You talk about his 800 yards. Yes, he did lead that team in receiving for the most part, but it was too many drops, man. It was every time you turn around, at least 1 or 2 big drops a game from a guy that had sure hands for several years. No consistent pass rush on the defensive side, and not enough defensive turnovers forced, man. All the stuff that we were so used to seeing this team be good at, they were not good at last year. In the draft, man, they went heavy on the defensive side of the ball in their first 4 picks. You talk about the defensive tackle out of Clemson. I think they came back into the first round and picked him up. He should pair well with Karlaftis and Chris Jones. Looking forward to seeing that if I'm a Chiefs fan. Trent McDuffie was sent packing, but they got the first rounder out of LSU, Mansour Delane. That'll help, fill his void there. Delane, he did not allow a single touchdown as a primary defender last year there with the Tigers down there in LSU. So, yeah, you talk about how good his coverage was. Yes, it was as good as, we both found out to be. Talking to town, it'll be the focus on this run game, man. I talked about it a few seconds ago. You mentioned that Eric Bieniemy is back. They're going to be focused on trying to run the ball, especially early on, because again, we don't know how mobile Patrick Mahomes is going to be. We don't know if he's going to be able to extend those plays. So if you could take some pressure off him with a Super Bowl running back, with a Super Bowl winning running back, with a Super Bowl MVP, okay, you can. You got Kenneth Walker the third. They added in free agency, so that should be fun to watch for Chiefs fans. But yeah, it's simple, man. When the ball's in the air, those wide receivers got to make the plays, man. Way too many drops last year for the talent of those guys. Who's going to be Patrick Mahomes' top guy? Again, because the health last year was the issue. Who's going to step in and be like that consistent Travis Kelsey when he was years past, the Tyreek Hill when he was his guy for the years when he was there. Somebody got to step up and be that guy. Um, but yeah, I think special teams may be the strong point of this unit of this team. Believe it or not, Harrison Butker, he's a top five kicker in the National Football League. Matt Araiza, he's a solid punter as well, coming off some troubles in his rookie season. He's now, I think, entering year 3 in the National Football League. So special teams maybe to start be a solid point for them, low key. But yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of a turnaround with them overall. I got them finishing second place, and I think that's because of the guys you mentioned. You got Eric Bieniemy coming back, of course, the coach Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. If he's out there, it always gives them a chance to win, no matter what percentage of health he is. They added in the running back. The defensive side, they've made some draft acquisitions to try to get as much out of this unit to help the offense that'll probably will struggle out the gates. But yeah, if not, we'll see it all crash and burn on national TV. 6 national TV games, 3 out of their first 6 games on prime time. But yeah, I'm hoping a third place or fourth place finish, like you mentioned, third place. But I think Kansas City can wiggle their way back into higher standings in the AFC West. And plus, they got a third place schedule. Now, remember, heading into last season, they had a first place schedule, which way they pretty much had for the last 9 years, 9 of the last 10 years. I think they had won the AFC West that many years. So now they get a little bit of an easier schedule as well to go on top of all that talent that they have there. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs a second place finish in the AFC West. All right, Max Crosby, he's back with the Raiders. He has some new talent around him. Ed, you've been to Allegiant Stadium, but what do you think the home team is going to do for their fans this year?
I think they'll be better than they were last year. Pretty much overhauled their roster and the coaching staff. They got the Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator from the Seahawks as their new head coach, Clint Kubiak. Brought in Rob Leonard as a defensive coordinator. And then they made a bunch of different moves with the roster. They had a lot of money to spend. Your boy Tyler Linderbaum, he's with the team now. He's their new center. 3-year, $81 million deal. Defensive side of the ball, a lot of changes too. Brought in Kwity Paye, defensive end. Quay Walker, we were talking about him last show. Linebacker, he's on a 3-year deal. Nakobe Dean, he's also on the group. So the defense and offense side of the ball, a lot of new pieces. I think it should be better than it was last year's, particularly the offensive line. We talk about Geno Smith, how he's with the Jets now, how he should have a better offensive line. Kirk Cousins, who I think will be the initial starting, he should have a better offensive line than it was last year with the additions they made. So I think coming out the gate, they'll be tougher to beat than what they were last year. I don't think they'll be pushovers. I think they'll be tougher to beat. Will that lead to success for this season? Not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. That quarterback position is still a question mark to me, but I do like the additions they made. They also brought in Jalen Naylor for the wide receiver room. I think Ashton Genty is going to be better going into his second year. Brock Bowers, he could probably be the best tight end in the league right now. He just needs to stay healthy for the Vegas Raiders. So I think they have some pieces out there. Like I said, the quarterback position, whether it's Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza, first pick out of Indiana, I got questions about productivity with them. I think Kirk Cousins initially he's going to be the starter, but I'm wondering how effective he's going to be, man. He's also older too. He might take injury, which will lead to Fernando Mendoza taking the lead. But very rarely. I mean, we've seen in the last couple of years, Jaden Daniels, he had a very successful rookie year. The year before that, even CJ Stroud, when he came in, his rookie year was successful, but it's not often you come in as a rookie, especially if you don't start away. You come in middle of the season and just start winning games. So I think they'll just this year, this is what their second year to rebuild. You know, now that Tom Brady came in as a minority owner, they made a lot of changes. They got a new head coach. I just think they're not ready yet. Give me a couple more years down the line, they might start turning things over. Right now, I got them finishing fourth in the division. One of the main reasons I talked about was the quarterback. Second reason, the wide receiver room. They got a lot of names. I like Jack Beck. He's going to his second year, but is he a true number one? I'm not sure. Jalen Naylor, so far from what I've seen from him out of his career, I wouldn't consider him a true number one as well. Trey Tucker, he might turn into that role, but I'm not too sure yet. I think Brock Bowers, like I said, the best, possibly, in my opinion, he's the best tight end in football, but he might be leading that room is receiving and touchdowns. But you know, when a good team start playing, they know how to like, okay, we focus on taking Brock Bowers away, and none of these other guys aren't going to really beat us. What are they going to do? How are they going to, get out of that? Find other production. Like I said, I think Ashton Genty will be good going into his second year, especially with an improved line play. But looking at these other teams in this division, especially the defense they got, I think all four of these teams got really good defenses. I don't know if the Raiders at this point right now in their rebuild will be good enough to compete in the AFC West. Right now, I got them finishing in fourth place. I think Clint Kubiak, good offensive mind. I got to see how he looks as a first year head coach. Maybe he can come in like your former coordinator did with the Seahawks and right away be good, get him to the damn Super Bowl. I highly doubt it, but you never know. So right now, I'm leaning towards the Raiders finishing in fourth place, but I do think this year they'll be better than last year. They won't be getting blown out a lot. I think it'll be coming down to just tiny things that they'll have to work on, in the next upcoming season. So yeah, give me a fourth place finish for the Raiders. Brandon, what do you think about them though?
Time, y'all. This is going to take some time to get going, in my opinion. For a reason that you mentioned right off the top, Clint Kubiak, new head coach. He's a bright young mind. That's why he got the job. He helped Kenneth Walker, JSN develop. He helped Sam Darnold, get that Super Bowl win last year. But he was hired late in the offseason, obviously well into February after the Super Bowl. And the last coach to do that was Kellen Moore down in New Orleans, and it did start slow for them as well. They don't get as much time. You kind of get you probably don't get your assistant coaches that you want in there. You probably your top picks because they've already been hired by other teams as well. Who knows? But when you start late, it doesn't always pan out well. And then some other things like you talked about, the offensive line were atrocious last season. Ashton Genty was met in the backfield damn near every play. Like we both, I think, thought that he was going to have a phenomenal rookie season, and it really took some time for him. It was, he showed some flashes because he's just that talented. But when your guys cannot hold their blocks, and you got what was he, the second overall pick somewhere? He was up there high, but a guy that already could have went first overall, getting met in the backfield every time is a problem. So of course, as you mentioned, they signed Tyler Linderbaum to anchor it all, and they paid him pretty well too. So we'll see if this offensive line improves heading into this season. I do like Jack Beck, the wide receiver you mentioned. I think he'll take a step forward. You mentioned, no, excuse me, Kirk Cousins. I'm thinking about this. Kirk Cousins has a tendency to throw into one wide receiver quite often. I think back when he was in Atlanta, it was Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
Seemed like that was his guy over
Drake London.
Thank you, over Drake London. So I think Jack Beck will be his new Darnell Mooney down there during the time when Kirk Cousins is going to be starting. And of course, the tight end, Brock Bowers, all pro tight end, one of the best young tight ends in football. He's got to go to him because he's a playmaker. So, but I do think Jack Beck will be his main guy. Defensively, Max Crosby, he's here for now. Of course, the whole trade went down with my Ravens, flipped back around. He's back there. Everybody's like, oh, he embodies what it's like to be a Raider. But if they were going to trade you once, they're likely, if somebody come with the right offer and stick to their guns, they're going to take him again. Especially now that he's healthy, 100%. Pretty sure he could pass the physical this time, and moving forward into the season, they might take it again. But yeah, they got lots of new pieces around him on the defensive side of the ball, especially the linebacker position. This front seven is loaded. Kwity Paye, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker came over from the Green Bay Packers. We'll see how it all gels with Max Crosby, and plus, again, they got a new defensive coordinator as well. Patrick Graham gone to the Pittsburgh Steelers. X factors for this team, though, in my opinion, I like the defensive tackle Jonah La Ulu. Again, big defensive tackle. He had 5 sacks last year. I like your former safety, Jeremy Chin. I think he's got to be the veteran back there in a pretty young secondary, because that front seven is set, in my opinion, especially if Max Crosby sticks around. So Jeremy Chin, we'll see how he plays back there. And then Connor Hayward, low-key pickup coming over from the Pittsburgh Steelers, fullback tight end. They got him listed as the number 1 fullback right now. So he'll be a lead blocker for Ashton Genty, and he'll probably help in the pass protection as well. 15 carries, 2 touchdowns last year with the Steelers. He was, a big guy there, could bulldoze his way into the end zone. Fernando Mendoza, yeah, he'll eventually end up starting. Obviously, he's the number 1 overall pick. But when he gets in there, Clint Kubiak, can we simplify things for him? Can our offensive line protect him even a little bit? Because, things are hard for a rookie. It's not usually easy. Like you said, we don't always have those definitely first round, any rookie quarterbacks come in and have instant success. Yeah, when he does get in there, they got to be able to make things easy for him and protect him, keep him clean, keep him healthy, keep him upright, and he can definitely make plays. He made some plays in the preseason opener. He did look good in there. But yeah, to me, no doubt this team finishes in 4th place. I got to agree with you there. But yeah, they should be more exciting to watch. I think they'll be a little bit better than what they were last season for sure.
Yeah, before we move on, I'm just thinking, as far as Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza, because when Kirk Cousins signed his contract, it was kind of an eye opener. 5-year, $172 million. That first year, fully guaranteed. So I'm expecting him, barring injury, to start this whole year. Or it would be kind of weird if he stinks up the joint, which I got a feeling he'll probably do. If they pull him, because I'll be like, so what was the point of the contract giving him all that money? I
True.
think they're probably banking on him to be a little bit better than stinking up the joint, which I'm kind of thinking he'll do. So I'm thinking he's going to start this whole year. They'll bring Fernando Mendoza along slowly. So I got Kirk starting the whole year, but I will be surprised if Mendoza, unless Kirk gets hurt, if they pull Kirk and put Mendoza in there right away. I'll be surprised they do that just because the contract they gave Kirk with that 1 year, this first year being fully guaranteed, $20 million. So yeah, man, we'll see how that goes though. But all right, everyone, get to the sponsor of the show. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD health and wellness company. Check out their line of CBD infused products, which are a perfect after workout refuel for athletes, a pain reliever for weekend warriors, and even a natural sports drink for us armchair quarterbacks. Their featured product is CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures and mint and natural flavors. They are veteran, women, and minority owned. So come get some of this sweet invitation and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. Now let's get back to our show. All right, we're going to move west. LA Chargers. They've been all over the damn globe, San Diego. But they in they're in LA right now. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the Chargers and how they'll do this year for the
Give me a
AFC?
third. Sure. Give me a 3rd place finish for this Chargers team out of LA. And I got a little bit of a hot seat for Jim Harbaugh. I know we was texting about this a couple months ago, and you was kind of shocked that I mentioned him and another coach in the AFC West. I'm gonna start with the head coach first. Offense hasn't been all that great since he's been there. He was hired for the ability to, make the offense good like he did with Michigan and like what he did with the San Francisco 49ers when he went to the Super Bowl in his 2nd year there. In my opinion, Herbert had one good season under him. It was 2024. I think he had 20-some touchdowns or 3 interceptions, somewhere in that range. Might have been more touchdowns. I know it was only 3 interceptions. And could he have possibly hired his own replacement in Mike McDaniel? Everybody likes those young hotshot offensive coordinators. He's going back to his bread and butter. He is going to be the offensive play caller. So may he be the one to step in if they decide to pull that trigger if this team does not get off to a good start this coming season. And I know they had a phenomenal season last year, great defense. Um, they had some injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, to the offense, it centers around this offensive line, in my opinion. Slater and Alt, one of them missed the entire season. The other one missed damn near the entire season, missed several games overall. A healthy unit will definitely help this run game that now includes my guy, Keaton Mitchell. We're going to miss him in Baltimore. He's now there with different Harbaugh. Um, it's looking like it's going to be a lot of speed with this offense too, kind of like what it was with Miami. That's Mike McDaniel's MO. He now has Keaton Mitchell. McConkey is fast. Quentin Johnston can run if he can catch the ball and consistently, like he really did come on last year. I got to give him that. He made some good catches. David Njoku is now there. He's physical, but he can also run with the ball in open field for sure. And then they signed our former tight end as well, our third tight end, Charlie Kohler. He has some speed to him as well. Defensive side of the ball, as I mentioned, Jesse Minter is gone. They still have some dogs on this side of the ball. Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Tua Ulotu. I think that's a guy that you've mentioned a lot over the last couple of years. I think he's heading into a contract year if he did not already get re-signed. Will a new voice in the defensive play calling role, will that decrease this defense or will it continue to be a top unit? Because the players are pretty much still there. But on the schedule side of things, they've got an easy first two games, and then it starts to get a little bit more challenging. We're talking about week 3 at Buffalo, at Seattle after that, versus Denver, at Kansas City. They got a bye week at the Rams, home for Houston, and at Baltimore. So, yeah, if things get shaky between, that's pretty much weeks 3 through 10. I wouldn't be surprised if they're forced to make a change to get away from Jim Harbaugh, because it's a performance league, and if you see that, this team's Achilles heel under Harbaugh has been they've gotten to that wild card round. I think they usually lose in the wild card round. I'm thinking about Houston; they get to the divisional round, but they've lost in the wild card round, so they got to be able to win games. Make some noise offensively and keep that defense up, I think, for him to keep his job. And plus, Mike McDaniel goes back home to Miami week 16. That's December 27th, ladies and gentlemen. That'll definitely be something to watch later in the season as well. But I like them to finish third place. Ed, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm wondering. My first question mark. You talked a little bit about his offensive line. Rashawn Slater, major knee injury. I think he suffered in training camp last year. Uh, if he can stay healthy, if he can come back, because I think right now they're bringing him along slowly. So I wonder if he can stay healthy when he's available. Same for Joe Alt, if he can stay healthy. I think he dealt with an ankle injury later towards the season. And even with all that being said, last year they still Justin Herbert. I think I got to give some more credit to him because I do, regular season and then I say playoffs, he kind of turns the switch off for some reason. But I got to give him credit because even with the injuries he had to the offensive line, they were still able to go out there and win some games and qualify for the playoffs. But if those two guys, Joe Alt and Rashawn Healthy, can stay healthy, I think arguably they're the best tackle duo in football. And as you mentioned, that'll be very good for the run game, but that'll be excellent for Herbert because one of the question marks I have about this team is the wide receiver room. I think Lab McConkey is a really good wide receiver. I'm not sure he's a true number one yet. He could work into that. You talk about Quentin Johnson. Yes, he can stretch the field, but consistency, he does, drop the ball a little bit. Then you go into the rest of the room, Trey Harris, Darius Davis. Can somebody step up? I'm guessing it's going to be Lab McConkey, but can they have consistency through that whole room? That's a big question mark for me. The tighter room, I think they got a diamond in the rough with Rondé Gatson. He needs to stay healthy. Rondé Gatson was very good for them last year. They bring in David Njoku, who I think still got a lot of gas left in the tank. It's more about injuries with him as well. Those two guys can stay healthy. They can produce. And then you talk about Charlie Kohler. I'm guessing they'll use him more in blocking scheme. I don't remember him doing too much as a receiver for you guys with the Ravens, but I think the tight end room is a little stronger than the wide receiver room, so Justin Herbert might lean on that. The running back, Omar Hampton, he dealt with injuries last year, but when he did play, he certainly popped off the screen, in my opinion. I think ankle injury kind of hampered him, but I haven't heard too much about him this offseason and training camp as far as him being hurt or anything like that. But I think he can, come into this season, he might put himself into like a top 10 running back. I think that I see that type of potential in him specifically, and especially if that offensive line can stay healthy. Um, like you said, they bringing in Mike McDaniels. I think he'll, make the offense pretty good for not just the running game, but as well for Justin Herbert. He did a lot of exotic stuff, in my opinion, when he's with the Dolphins. I think he's gonna try to put some more speed out there, a lot of pre-snap motion stuff. You got guys, Justin Herbert might do something. The guys start flying all around the downfield before the snap starts, confuse the defense a little bit, and just make the defense on the other side, guarding Justin Herbert and crew a little bit confused, get them off balance, and maybe get some things out of that. So I think Mike McDaniels coming in is going to be really good for Herbert and just the offense as a whole. Defense side of the ball, I'm wondering, what the production will look like without Joey Bosa out there. You mentioned the guy we talked about, Tui Pelotu. I think he had like 13 sacks last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure he can fill that role. They got Bud Dupree as well. I'm not even talking about Khalil Mack right now, but I think those two guys, can they, do what Joey Bosa did? I thought he was pretty good when he could play, dealt with injuries as of late in his career. But if those two can kind of fill that void, the defense might be not missing Joey Bosa, in my opinion. Khalil Mack starting to get to the twilight of his career. I think he had like 6 sacks, maybe 5.5 sacks last year. If he can, continue to just hold that out, that'd be good for them too. My guy, the safety whose name escapes me at the moment, he body slammed Travis
Derwin
Kelsey
James.
back in the day. Sorry?
Derwin James.
Derwin James, thank you. Yes. He's back there. I think he's still a pretty good safety. I think that defense will be all right. Honestly, man, I got them. If they can stay healthy, I got them finishing in first place. I think the offensive line will be better if they can stay healthy. They picked up Tyler Biadasz. He's with my team last year, center, I believe. I think the offensive line, they can stay healthy, is going to be a major strength. Be able to dominate those the trenches, give Herbert more time to throw the ball, and give that running game holes to do what they got to do. And as you mentioned, Keaton Mitchell, if he didn't have that knee injury, I definitely think he'd still be at the Ravens and be like a feature back for him. That knee injury certainly set him back, because I think his rookie year, he came out the gate and was doing really good things for y'all. He's another year removed from that knee injury. I know he dealt with a little bit more injuries later in his career with y'all, but I think if he's healthy and it still has a little bit of that explosiveness that he had, maybe use him in the special teams as well, punt return, kick return. I'm not sure if they want to do that, but I think that could be a really good sneaky weapon for them. I just got questions about the wide receiver room that I mentioned, but I think I still like Harbaugh, man. I know if you look back at all his stops, you can say he's good at team building. He did it in San Francisco. They didn't win the big game, but he got him there. He went over to Michigan. He built that team up. Now, there's little stuff going on, but how you been cheating, whatever. Hey, go blue. He did really good things there. Now he's back in LA and he's turned his franchise as well. They're, getting to the playoffs every year. Now, can they just get over that hump? We'll see. Like I said, if the offensive line can stay healthy, if Rashawn Slater can come out and perform like he was before that horrific knee injury, same with Joe Alt. If he can stay healthy, the offensive line is going to beat people up, wear defenses down. And I got them right now, got them finishing in first place in the AFC West. But we'll definitely see how it goes out there.
Broncos country, let's ride. Fresh off a 14-3 season, tough loss in the AFC title game. The Broncos, they're poised to get to the Super Bowl in February of 2027. This is another roster that did not need much heading into 2026, in my opinion. But the key offensive and off-season acquisition for them, Jalen Waddle. He's going to alleviate some of that pressure off Cortland Sutton and the running backs. I'm excited to see him and Bo Nix link up and do big things in Denver. My hesitation is with Davis Webb. He's a new play
Mm,
caller, young guy. First time Sean Payton will not be calling plays as a head coach that I can remember. He's just always done it. So, how will that look for this Denver offense? There are some questions and concerns, though. Can this offense start faster? I always call them the push lawnmower type offense where you got to crank it up, you got to hit that choke button a couple times, hope it start up because they seem to start slow in just about every game. And will Sean Payton regret it? I think again the lack of offensive firepower in the early in the games kind of hurt them in a couple games last year. Yes, they ended up with that 14-3 record, but they had to come back in that second half so many times, specifically against the New York Giants and I think Philadelphia Eagles. Those games, I think New York was up by 30 points at one point, and they came back.
crazy.
Yeah, no questions for me on the defensive side of the ball. Honestly, those guys are playmakers at every level, and there's multiple playmakers at every level. Special teams, though, the kicker Will Lutz, he's a little shaky at 40 yards or more when it comes to field goals, so that'll be something to watch. The offense, I think, needs to score more or get the ball within his range. But yeah, I like this team in the AFC West, and I like it in the conference in general. The only question I think for me is again that play calling situation. We got Davis Webb calling the plays, former quarterback. I think he played for Texans and a couple other teams, as opposed to Sean Payton. Um, Slightly concerned about the offense and the kicker position, but I think that they could finish first place in the AFC West again. Ed?
Um, I got them finish in the second place, kind of the same reason. Uh, Concerns wise, I mean, I'm wondering how the offense will look with Davis Webb as the OC and primary play caller. I'm wondering, is there going to be more play action, more run pass option for Bo Nix because he's a mobile type guy. But as you mentioned, they starting slow. Uh, coming out the gate this year, I don't think it would be good if they start and slow the offense, sputters out the gate, and then you got to rely on heroics and fourth quarter comebacks to win the game. I think that'll tire them out, burn them out. By the end of the year, they might not be in the position they want to be. Um, Defensive side of the ball, I don't got any concerns either, man. I think the defensive side of the ball could potentially be better. I think they didn't have any picks in the first two rounds, but they did. Their first pick was a D tackle out of Texas A&M, Tyler Onyedem. Apologies if I mispronounced your name, sir, but I think the defense is going to be great. I think as long as Patrick Surtain can stay healthy, he'll be a shutdown corner. That side of the field, don't even look at it because it might be going the other way. They'll cause turnovers. Nick Benito, all those guys on the defensive line, that front seven, we causing havoc out there. Then honestly, the running game, I like J.K. Dobbins a lot. I'm just wondering if those injuries that he suffered, how much juice he has, how much gas has left in the tank. I do like RJ Harvey, but I
Yeah.
am kind of I'm not too confident in that wide receiver room. I don't know how consistent they'll be. I think there might be games where they gotta rely on Bo Nix, who I think is a good quarterback. I think he has the right team around him. I'm not trying to take away from Bo Nix. I just don't think he's the most talented quarterback in that division. If I had to rank him, he's probably the third best quarterback in that position. And that's nothing against him. I just think the team is perfectly built around him. Sean Payton and
Sure.
now Davis Webb, they're gonna find a way to just maximize his potential. But his ceiling, I don't know if it's the greatest. And then I'm kind of getting concerned about his injuries too. And would he break his ankle
Okay.
or something? Broke a bone in his
Yep.
ankle. He's a mobile guy. He take the wrong hit. It could be a fluke type of thing, but you never know, man. So only reason I got them finishing in second place is just kind of the offense. I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan. Um, and then the running back room, I do like J.K. Dobbins. He's produced in the past, but I don't know how we can trust his health. R.J. Hardy, he comes in the game. They got Jaleel McLaughlin too. They got some guys, but I'm just not sure. They got the guy, if you know what I mean, like the number one true back who can make something happen when something needs to happen. I do think Jalen Wilder, that's a really good addition for the offense. Cortland Sutton, really good wide receiver in my position. Now they got Jalen Waddle, another guy who can stretch the field too. That'll be good for him as well. I like Evan Ingram in the tight end room. He's getting a little up there in age, but if Bo Nix can stay consistent, and that offense can, not wait till the fourth quarter to get things going, they could potentially finish first place. But right now, I got them finishing in second place in AFC West. But like I said, I think not all three, but three of these teams will make the playoffs, in my opinion. So take that as you may. But I think this will be one of the tougher divisions. I think the Raiders, they won't be as good, but they'll be, it can't be a team you sleep on because they might surprise some people. But I do think three teams in this division will make the playoffs. We'll see how that goes, though.
Okay. All right, everyone, stick with us, y'all. We're heading to the AFC South for Monday's show. Jadeveon Clowney is back in H-Town. Will Stroud recover from that playoff loss? I know Ed's still frustrated over that game against New England.
God.
The Jaguars, they're looking to repeat as AFC South winners. Travis Hunter, he put on some weight in the offseason. Will he play more offensive or defensive steps? We'll be talking about that as well. Daniel Jones back for year 2 of Indianapolis, coming off a very serious injury. But the owner, she's watching that team with her, with every move that they do down there. Now the new Irsay daughter taking over for Jim Irsay, and a group of bald coaches are now with the Titans, looking to get them out of the cellars of the division. That'll be fun to watch as well. Cam Ward entering year 2 in the National Football League. In the meantime, please take a moment, hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, as Podcast B&E, and on IG at B&E Podcast. Until next time, love one another.